There we go. That should be better. Welcome in, John. And Cranky and Jody, you should have sound now. Excellent. Yes, it works much better if I remember to flick that little button. It's just a thing that I've learnt over time. So when you, don't know if anybody's really interested other than me, but when you record, I record with mic on one track and and the game on another, so that I can edit the tracks differently if I need to. And that all works fine. And even though I have a separate profile in OBS for streaming, unless I put the stream out as a single track, you don't get the audio, the mic audio. So I've got to go find that setting and remember to do it. And I was getting better at it. I just had a brain fade this morning. G'day, Scooter. Welcome along. So we are at Newlands again, and we have a bunch of things to do, even though it's December. First of which, I think we should run the mulch. We haven't mulched, no. We should run the mulcher across this field, which will just get that going. So that looks pretty darn good, actually. Is that the right size? Probably is, actually. We might see how that goes. 5.5 meters. Let's just have a look here. Mulches is 5.6 meters. That'll do. I reckon that's close enough. So we'll start that job. Start you wherever you like, champ. So now that he's off and underway, well, at least thinking about it, whichever way he's going, sooner or later he'll find the start position. Where is the start position on that? Ah, back behind him. That's odd. I might have started him in the center, actually. That would do it. Right. He looks like he's narrowed it down. And I've got him doing centers, I suspect. Yes. Rightio, he's away. So at the end of the last stream, we just about had enough money to buy the sugar factory. So we did. So now we are the proud owners of our extended sugar mill over here, which, as you can see, as I've rolled into December, has produced some sugar. One of these doors gets us, there we go. So the big thing, oh, Peter, welcome along. Great to have you in. I hope you are well today. For those folks that don't know, there is a cyclone forming off the coast of Queensland. So for our Queensland listeners, life is likely very humid, starting to get a little windy and a little wet. So the interesting thing about this sugar mill I've found, the main reason we got this one is that it works with Maize Plus. So as you can see, the standard sugar beet recipe produces some molasses. That's what that middle component is, and beet pulp, both of which we can use in feed. So we can put molasses, we only need a small amount of it, so it doesn't matter that it's only producing a tiny amount. And we can use that for the cows. They quite like that. And beet pulp we will use for the pigs. You'll recall we put in a silo that was giving us that. So now we've got it as a byproduct of our sugar factory. So that's good. I did tweak the recipe on this because it was really slow. Well, it was just very different to the main game. So I improved it just a fraction. I kept the cycles the same. So it's not producing at a ridiculous rate, but it is producing fairly quickly. And I haven't put all our sugar beet in it. Mouth, tongue-tied. I haven't put all our sugar beet in it. So we have... It's not telling me how much sugar beet I have in my silo. Oops. Get out of there. Come over here. I'm pretty sure we've still got a whole bunch of sugar beet in our little silo over here. Oh no, we only have 42,000. I must have moved some around. If we got a heap of sugar made, that might be the difference. 21,000. Huh. Where has all... Okay, now I'm confused. Now I am quite confused. You've got a little bit of sugar beet in there. We only ever put a tiny amount of sugar beet in there. Interesting. So I have been, well, I'll talk about the little issue I've been in. So I've been encountering a little problem, and I turned off production revamp because I was worried it might be causing it. But what I observed was, where are we here? Which production am I looking for? I'm looking for the grist mill. Up. There it is. So what I observed was that originally we only put a little bit of sugar beet, 3,600 litres of sugar beet in here in order to make some sugar beet cut. And you'll see I've got a whole heap of sugar beet cut. And in fact, it was only, while I had that on, it was only dropping by, you know, a litre every now and again. But giving us a ridiculous amount of sugar beet cut, which I then said, well, that's not right. So I threw some of that away. I put a little bit in the BGA. So what I'm now wondering, what's the recipe? Which recipe are you talking about? The recipe for sugar beet cut in the grist mill is a 1-for-1. But what I'm now wondering is, in fact, whether I had... So whilst I was worried it wasn't performing properly, I think it might have been performing sort of properly. So I think it might have been doing the recipe, but it was taking... Well, except it's not on distribution. But I think what it might have been doing, now that I looked at my silo and I don't have the quantity of sugar beet, I think it might have been grabbing sugar beet from here when I had that active. So even though it's not showing up, so normally when it extended storage applies, it shows you. But I think that's what was going on. So inadvertently, I've turned all of my, or a good portion of our sugar beet into sugar beet cut, which I thought was in error. And I think that's what was going on now. So what that means is I certainly don't want to put that in there because we want the sugar out of the sugar mill. But it's the only explanation I can think of, and the volumes are about right. Because yeah, distribution of what from what? Or are you asking me to turn distribution on? I don't understand your distribution reference. Something distributing to, well, so if we have a look, where are we here? Now, how do I do this? Production points, delivery mapping. So if you haven't seen it on PC, you can use this tool to help you with this sort of question. So that's where, so what this is telling us is all the production points, the mulcher is sending Tero to all of these production points. So if I come down the list here, as I expected, the only things distributing are in fact in the greenhouse. I don't have any of the other production points distributing or receiving. I have a distribution mod running. I do not. I took production revamp out. So and as you just saw, there is no distribution occurring. No, the first thing I thought of when I saw the problem was production revamp. But now, having just worked through and eliminated a couple more things, I'm pretty sure now, even though I don't know how it's happening, I'd have to look at the XML. I'm pretty sure that the mill is processing straight out of the beet silo. Now, because it doesn't do anything that I actually want to do with regular sugar beet, I can't actually test it. I can demonstrate it. So if I turn it on, right, you see now it's working properly. It wasn't doing that yesterday. And I took production revamp out. So now we're roughly losing the same volume as we saw. I took production revamp out and it showed like this. But then last night when I came on to prep for the screen, I thought it was working properly. I went away and did something else, as we'll do now. And what I don't want it to do is convert Well, it doesn't really matter. It can convert all of that into sugar beet cut, I guess. We can put that in the sugar melt just as easily. But when I went back into the screen again, no, see, it's still working properly. I don't know. That's bizarre. It's a bizarre one. We'll let it go for a bit and we'll come back and check on it later. When it runs out, it runs out. Anyway, we now have a sugar mill. So we can sell some sugar. The other thing we need to be doing today, we've got plenty of field work to be going on with. And welcome if I miss... Oh, Malloy, sorry, I missed you popping in. Thank you for joining us. So, let's have a look at the pigs. Yeah, see, maybe John, but then again, that's what I thought yesterday before I produced 50-odd thousand litres of sugar beet cut that I didn't want from apparently 3,000, but now that I look at it, a magic transition. So if we look at our pigs, we have, I think it's 605. As you can see, their health is okay, but their slurry is full. So we need to do something with the slurry, which we can either spread on the field or put in the BGA or both. We've got 2 months, I think. Yes, 2 months before the pigs reproduce again. But when they do, we're going to get a whole heap of them. And what we saw last time is, on the one hand, that's okay. We might just leave that tractor there for the minute. No, we'll leave the trailer there. Let's put the trailer under here. Out of the way. Zip around the corner there. What we saw last time was when the pigs reproduce, they can overpopulate the pen, which is fine, and we can sell off half the piglets, which we did, reduce the population, get some cash in, which is also fine. However, the health drops significantly, which means that the rate we get for them drops significantly, and so that feels to me like we're letting money disappear out the door. And so I don't necessarily want to massively increase. G'day, Farmer Ed. Good to see you. I don't necessarily want to massively increase our pig population. However, I do want to maximize the return from the ones we get. So what I'm thinking is we need a simple like an overflow pen / pasture where, you know, the month before they breed, we can move a bunch out into there to let the breeding occur and then move them back. What does that look like? Even though it should be the right width, that it's not operating at the right width. It shouldn't be leaving stripes in the field. What's going on today? We looked at the mulcher and it said the width was 5.6. And the course that it's running, it says it's calculated on, maybe it did, maybe it's what it says it's calculated, but I didn't calculate it. because it sure doesn't look like it is. Let's have a look here. Let's create job. Let's do it again. Open course generator. Let's start you on the headlands. Get done with it. Yeah, that's a much different course. Okay, that was a silly mistake. Let's go back and start you now. Right. Operator error. That is the farm manager error. The driver was doing exactly what I asked him to do. I just asked him to do the wrong thing. Now, where was I in... I had pulled out of there in... because I was going to deliver some... There we go. Deliver some milk over while we talked it through. All right, lots of rambling and lots of disconnected. Yeah, I was happy to let it go with 5.5, that degree of overlap. I didn't think was significant in the size of the field, John. You're quite right. If the work width, if it's the other way round, it's a problem. Yeah, if the work width in CP is 5.5 and the actual is 5.6, then the lines will overlap. If they're the other way round, which is what it obviously was, obviously the prior implement was bigger than 5.6, then you'll leave gaps. So we've got a little bit of milk to sell, but what I was really leading to with the pigs is it'd be nice to get somewhere that we could let them breed into, but probably an even higher priority is we need to do something with the slurry. So I have my eye on a Fortschritt slurry tank, which I think will work quite well for us, but we need to get up to 20 grand. So we're just a little bit short at the present. We can drop them. As you can see, we downscaled our milk trailer a bit. This is both cheaper and a little more easy to utilize than IT runner back that we were using, so just a little less fiddling around and it's easy to tow, so that'll work out quite well. I'm sure we'll have some trees to sell in due course. So what I'm thinking is we keep chugging away with the field work for a little bit, because basically we've got 2 fields that need mulching, liming and ploughing, because we have to plough the corn and the sugar beet. So we'll take stock of where we are when we get to that point, and then we can hopefully we'll have enough produce. Well, we will have enough produce to sell. I'll have a look in a minute. I don't know when the best price to sell sugar is. But now that we've got some, we can potentially sell that. So we'll just pop this over here Out of the way. And see, at that size, it just fits nicely in the little loading spot. So much more convenient than the other one. Rightio. Now, I think I realise that I'm jumping a little bit all over the place, but I got lots of stuff on the list in my head. So cows are just a bit short of power food, which is the one component we find it hard to generate for them at the moment. Pigs are okay, but they're out of straw. Okay. We can solve for straw. Let's solve for straw while we're thinking about it. So I did attempt to put a poll up. So I have a question for the broader audience, and I'll keep it up so because I know quite a lot of people watch the stream on replay. So let's just put some straw in here. Somewhere. There we go. So my question is, I'm doing 3 streams a week, and let's just stay with Australian time so I don't confuse the living daylights out of everybody. So on Monday night, Tuesday morning and Friday morning are my 3 streaming time slots, and I'm quite happy with those. They seem to serve the different audiences fairly well, and they fit into my life demands fairly well, so keen to sort of hold on to those. We are doing 2 Newland streams, being Tuesday and Friday, and we are doing 1 on the Oaks, and I'm very much enjoying both, and they're quite different. My question is, as an audience, what are you enjoying? Because that's important. And would you prefer it to stay as it is, or would you prefer it swung around? Where's that trigger? There it is. So that we do 2 Oaks streams and 1 Newland stream, and if I did 2 Oaks streams, it'd probably be a Monday and Friday. So I'm pretty keen to keep the Oaks where it is on Monday night, but I could easily go and switch this stream out and do an Oaks stream. So if people want to just let me know what they think. Okay, that looks a lot better. So now we just need to save up to deal with the slurry. So that was, no, you're back again, Jody. Popping in and out. Whoop. How did you get on with your cow feeding? Is that working out for you? You had some questions about it. Doing a lot better. Okay, excellent. The thing's starting to make sense now. Or at least be less confusing. Yep. Wrong button. Now it's the right button. Rightio. That's that job. Now let's see. How's our man doing here? He looks to be doing a lot better. He's on the headlands still. So what we can do, let's just jump back and check. Oh, it's working properly. So I'm thinking, the only thing I can think of that fixed that, I'm thinking that it was production revamp that was a problem. And the one thing I did was make sure it was removed from my mod directory, and perhaps that's why I got a temporary reprieve, because last night I did remove it from the mod directory. So what time is it over here? You can actually see it. It's on your screen right up here in the top corner, just hidden away so that I've got a reference, but it's 8:30 on Friday morning for me. So let's see. So question for folks, should I lime before I plow or plow before I lime? What is the correct sequence? Does anybody know? Or it may not be correct, it may be just better. Yep, it's Thursday afternoon in the US and Thursday evening in the UK and Europe. So now, so we have a spreader and there is fertilizer in it which we need to take out. Where is that tractor? I'm thinking I'm gonna lime before I plow, so that in effect the ploughing mixes the lime in. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but given I haven't been overrun with contributions, my day has oh, are you asking what John's day's been like? You could be asking either. John, feel free to tell us what your day has been like. I suspect you've been at work. My day started just before the stream, so hasn't had a lot in it, but I'm expecting it to be a good one. Looks like the weather's been going to be moderate. Yeah, he's doing much better over there. John always limes before ploughing, so I reckon that's what I'm thinking is a good thing to do. We'll let him get a little bit further because, oh, I've got to get rid of that fertilizer, don't I? What's the fertilizer state, just while I've got it here, of that grass there? Let's just have a look. Work, work, and more work. Yep, we could put a little bit of fertilizer on this grass. That won't hurt. And in fact, it's looking decidedly like the other crops need fertilizing as well, so do I need my other tractor with crop tires. Let's see. No, I can drive on the crop with this tractor, so that's okay. If you're wondering why there's a really weird fertilizing pattern on this field, it's because when I needed to weed it, I bought us a cheap basic weeder, and one of the things you'll recall, I used the hoe because we actually had medium weeds that we needed to get rid of, but one of the things about the weeder was, for some reason, it gives best known to the modder, it gives a fertilizing state, which wasn't intended. Well, that's important work, John. Community centers do great things for communities. And so whilst I could turn off it giving me a fertilizing state, if I was driving the tractor, as soon as I put it on course play, it turned it on, even though there was no evidence. I'll show you the weeder in a second, just so if anyone uses it, you'll know. See you, Farmer Ed. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. So that's why we had this funny fertilizing pattern on here. I ended up driving well, in fact, we switched to a hoe, so yeah, good for you. Okay, well that's used up all the fertilizer fairly capably. Need a little bit more, which we can go and get. This is a job that needed doing, so while we're at it, let's tackle it. It's one of those things that wasn't on my list, but now that I see it, I might as well sort it. Anyway, the weeder I'm talking about is that little blue frame that's on the floor there. So that's a weeder. But as you can see, it shows as containing a permanent 1,000 litres of solid fertilizer. So the mod has gotten a little bit carried away. And you can turn it on and off. So as I say, if you use it yourself, it's not a problem. But if you don't, I suspect it was done like that originally if you're playing in base mode and you have to fertilize fields twice, particularly for grass work, it might have been useful. Now I'm pretty sure I have some fertilizer in the little fertilizer store we keep over here at the garden center. We'll find out in just a second. That's why I'm back here. There you go. Solid fertilizer. Probably not quite going to be enough, but it'll be a start. We'll see how we go. The other thing I did between streams, I referred to it and I haven't finished it, but I whacked in a little access, off the jump, a little access road, switchback access road off the field. It's not quite as smooth as I want, or a big enough turning circle there, but it at least now means we can put an automation course off these fields up through our industrial arc. So that's the idea. Let's have a look here. So let's see. So does anyone have any thoughts on stream composition? Should I do 2 oaks and 1 Newlands, or stay with the current format of 2 Newlands and 1 oaks? Yeah, any points of view there? This is making that we're going very much from orange to green, so it's making it much happier. But we are going to run out of fertilizer. 2 oaks, please, says John. I will collect inputs over the next, well, over the weekend basically, and I'll let everyone know so people can that watch the stream on catch up can put something in the comments if they want. As I said, I was trying to do a poll, and apparently I need 500 subscribers to have access to all that functionality, so that got a little bit tangled up. I can only ask yes/no questions, which just was complicated, so, and unduly so I left it. Right, so now we can put some lime in. Just drove straight past. Is that lime there? Might be. Yes, it is. And hopefully we've got that third silo that I just drove past should also be lime. We put that in last, a few episodes ago. Back. There we go. Yeah, man's doing a sterling job there, sorting out the mulching. You should be playing a Big Brother. Yeah, maybe. From what I understand, they're just trying to catch up to Twitch. It'll look neater if we wait for that one. We'll just wait for him to get a little bit further. He's going to finish the field shortly. Now, let's see. What have we got to sell over here? Trees. 4,000 litres. Got some bamboo and aloe vera. They're about the same. Got a bunch of regular vegetable produce. And let's have a look at the sugar price. Sugar. 7.34. Well, we could sell some sugar to Max Wactor, couldn't we? We don't have to sell a lot. We could just do a... I can only take it out on pallets, can't I? Will I... There, that's the one I want. It's not the... Let's see here. We've got to think about this. Trying to get into the sell point at Max Wactor. We don't want to be using the curtain cider. That would be painful. We'll use the Bremer. The Bremer Wagen. And we'll take those multis off it. For those that use these, I've observed that there's a couple of odd conflicts with universal auto load. They just do some occasionally odd things. So one I encountered yesterday, if I have this unit set up like this, towing that milk trailer, I can't unload the milk trailer at the dairy. In fact, I can't unload the milk trailer at any sell point. Doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't work. Yet the minute I take the global pallet off, it works fine. So a global transport pallet. So just something to watch out for. There's something about the interaction of a universal auto load and those global pallets that can be just a little bit problematic. Let's whack some sugar on here. Walking the dogs is fine, Cranky. Life is good, and I'm sure the dogs enjoyed it. Oh, come on. Wasn't close enough. What? That looks like molasses out the back. So the cows will be happy. Let's go to Max's with what we've got on there. So the question that I asked while you were out, Cranky, was, and it's open as an informal poll, what people would like to see. Would they prefer, given that I stream 3 times a week and the Monday evening, or the first stream of the week is the Oaks, would they prefer to stay with the current format with 1 Oaks and 2 Newlands, or would they prefer to go to 2 Oaks and 1 Newlands, given that I'm enjoying playing on both maps and what we're doing is very different? Turned around that way, I only ended up with 6 pallets on here. It's not very efficient. 2 Oaks, you're loving that. Well, that's what John voted for, so that's certainly first couple of people to get their preference in leaning in that direction. I will take input through till the oak stream on Monday, so we'll just collect a few more points of view, but that's very helpful, thank you. So this is the max sell point. Let's see, backing you in there, help. Come on. What clown put collisions on the garden lights down the driveway? Come on, get out of there. Try to get the trailer steering to go exactly where you want it. Especially when I've got collisions on these darn garden lights. Come on. What are you hooked on? Da, 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 da. Come on. There we go. Probably got to be just about in the trigger there. No. There it is. A little bit of cash. No. No, this is not a curtain-sided delivery point. No, the way to do the curtain-sider would be to pull up at the gate here and use a forklift or a hand truck to get it out. So we just need a little bit more cash. And we can get slurry organized. Yeah, it's surprisingly versatile and handy. I find it's one of those, so you don't necessarily use it all the time, but having it around, like that situation just when you need to call on it on some maps, it's really helpful. And being low, it's easy to load, and it will take small vehicles. So yeah, nice and compact. I don't want to just spend my time delivering produce. Let's... Oh, the other thing we needed to look at, I was talking about it before. So the cows need some power food. And the only option You got to buy those things. We can't make grain grist yet. That'll be next year. We used all the canola in the pigs. Or I could buy some mineral feed, so we might have to do that. And one of the things I learned about Maize Plus is that the animals will stay on 100% provided you've got 3 of the 4 food groups satisfied. So we're only, and we're missing the least significant one in the cows. So the other thing that I think contributes to power food is fresh cut grass, but we don't have any of that anywhere. Which is cheaper? Let's have a look. It's a very good question. So, mineral feed sits at about 1,000 or just over 1,000 litres. $1,100 for the same amount for beet pellets. 1,100. Yeah, so it's about there's not much in it. Probably mineral feed just. Looks like. So base game mineral feed's just $50 cheaper, but all of the Duca Maize Plus components, which were what we were tending to look at, are yeah, there you go. There's heaps of stuff. So $50 in it. If we've got money after we get our silage tanker, this is the one I'm silage tanker, slurry tanker. This is the one I've got in mind. We could just buy a transport tanker. Oh, that's interesting. So that says it does have a spread width. Why did I think that one didn't spread? Mainly because I just didn't read it properly. So why would you buy the bigger one? 10 versus not. Okay, so it's got a meter, but it doesn't actually spread as wide. It's got a meter more volume. I think we'll go with this one. I did not. When I looked at it quickly last night, I obviously didn't read it properly and just assumed that this was straight haulage. It didn't have the spreading connector. It's got a spreader thingy on the back. It's very well spotted. Do we have a dolly? So that's the difference. So you don't need a dolly with this one, you just need a low link. But for 10,000 extra, we've got a dolly on the curtain cider that we could use. I'm inclined to give the cheaper one a shot. and be done with it. Let's do that. Let's do that. So let's drop you here. We happen to be right beside it. The other experiment I wanted to run, I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, that's right. I agree, Cranky. Oops. I don't know if you noticed, 82 Studios has released a winch that attaches to a fifth wheel and pulls 10 ton. I was curious to see, and we might do a little of experiment just now. I'll release it just so that we can see, can you attach the winch to a dolly? Not terribly realistic, but for vehicles, it just broadens out your ability to use it is all. Okay, that field's all done, so we can lime that when we get back. I only thought of it because I was grabbed one of those winches. It'll make a brief appearance in the next Silver Run episode, which I got yesterday. The best part about it is because it's got a 10-ton lift capacities or haul capacity, is you can string multiple trees together and sort of pull them across and line them up. So it's quite useful. We're all learning here, John. As you probably noticed. I don't know. I just have crazy ideas and you get to work them out. So let's go in here and purchase the tank we want. Let's grab you. And we've gone more for the blue. It's not really that blue. What blue is it? Not that blue. We'll go with that blue. And on the one thing you do want to change the color of is the tank, and that's the one thing they don't give you the choice on. Original. What are you doing? Yeah, I think front connectors. Huh. Little doubles. Yeah, they're sort of cheap. Let's buy one of those. Now, we were also, while we were here, going to grab 2 pallets of mineral feed. And forestry equipment. Did I put the winch on here? There it is. Let's lease one of those. $400. Just got to remember to return it. But actually, don't need super strength to pick it up. It's just a regular weight. Again, not terribly realistic necessarily. And the way it should work, if I've got the correct... No, it doesn't. Looks like as if it was happy to do that. It should give me an option to connect it, which it does on the bed of a truck. Have to get into the winch, you reckon? I can't get into the... What am I in now? No, can't get into the winch. So when it's on the bed of a truck, you get into the truck and it connects. It gives you a connect option. You never have to enter the winch. So it's just an accessory in that regard. But we don't have a vehicle that it will fit at the minute. But never mind. Round you go. The dolly looks somewhat oversized for the appliance. Don't no, there we go. I almost got it. Just got to get my angle of attack correct. At least you're not going to does the Fortret have its own dolly, or is it just designed to go on the Fortret Semi? I didn't look at that. Yes, it does. That's the dolly for it. We won't get one of those for now. We'll see how this goes first, but that might be a good idea. That will look a little better, and even with that dolly, it'll be cheaper than the bigger one. Pleasant View, welcome along. Yeah, the Unimog is a real winner on here. From memory, Cranky pointed me at it. Hope it's been a good day, a good week for you, Pleasant View. We're just going to move some slurry from the pig pen. It's no, I'm glad whenever you can pop in. You're a busy man. You work multiple jobs, you got animals to keep alive, and you mod stuff in Farm Sim. I mean, that's a life. We're just chuffing away, getting our... So we just mulched the cornfield. It needs some lime spread on it, and then some ploughing. Ah, cool. Does that involve putting a dashboard in it? Yeah, Scooter pops in. We see him. He's a regular contributor. Yeah. Oh, the slurry point's at the other end, you doofus. Goodness me. I'll look forward to seeing what you come up with. If you need anyone to try it out, I'd be more than happy. Jake loves it on Silver. Does a great job for him. It's probably just as well that I turned around anyway. Now where's the trigger here? That's good enough. So question, folks, do I just pump it into the BGA or do I spread it? I reckon I just pump it into the BGA. What do you think? For the minute. That way we can turn it into some cash. Well, there you go. There's nothing like other people to put pressure on you, you see. Yeah. Overload slurry down there. So, slurry, BGA. Thanks very much, Pleasant View. Much appreciated. What's the first state of the fields? It varies, and I have the intention of spreading. We'll have a look in just a sec. So, slurry, mini BGA. We now have a little bit of slurry, so this doesn't take a ridiculous amount, although it processes it a bit fast for my liking. And we will have digestate. So I've never used, this is the first time I've ever used a BGA, and I'm assuming that I can use the same tanker to spread digestate. Is that a reasonable assumption? Probably should have looked. Oops. So the basic process is, yeah, there you go. Okay. So the basic process is you put slurry in your BGA, you process it to make other products, and then you take the resulting digestate and spread that on your fields. Cool. Okay, we will be doing that. Looked very much like that trailer was levitating there, just the shadow effect. So what we'll do is we'll this round here for the minute. And we can move more of that afterwards. And then we'll take our mineral feed down to our cows. Get them happy. We've got a little bit of fabric there, so that'll be a nice little income stream in a couple of months. Is it Disturbed Modding's BGA? I think it is. Where can I go to tell me that? Just hang on. I can go here to here. Actually, no, it's this one. Where are we here? Desktop transition. It's this mini BGA from Camelos 0397. I think. Is that the one I've got sitting in the... Oh, maybe it's not. It might be Disturbed. I put a bunch of them in. What's the other one? BGA. There's probably a way to sort on this page. I just don't know what it is. Dusty Lands. That Camelos one's definitely the one I put down on Silver Run. No. What do we got here? Come on. There are lots of mods. Oh. Scanning. Mini BGA. That's the one, isn't it? Yes, it is a Disturbed. It's that one there. Yeah, that's the one we're using. So it's a Disturbed Mini with all the bits. I love this feature of the mod assistant. So there you go. That's the one we have. So if I go back to there and back to there, we're good. Yes, there are a lot of mods. Well, I like to have choices, particularly when I'm sort of trying to tell a story and have a backstory. And also very deliberately in the streams, I try and test things out from time to time. And so as usually happens, what starts out as a test, we used to have a saying back in my career, you know, if it works, it's production. If it failed, it was a test. And that's very much the philosophy on here is with some things is we'll grab one, and if it works out, then we keep going. So that inevitably leads to a lot of mods. So if we now look at the cows, I'm hoping we will find, yeah, they have some power food, so that's good. Right, let's get back to our field work. we can get the mulcher going on the sugar beets. This time we will set it up properly. Let's open you out. Let's run an extra. We might run around and do this one ourselves, do a little bit of field work ourselves. There is a tractor hiding down there and all of that dust. I learned a very interesting thing this week, which was, well, it was interesting to me. You guys might already be aware of it because it may well have been a thing for a long time, but I didn't realize that if I just use auto drive, I can set my, so I was well aware that you could use auto drive and course play in combination for unloading, and particularly harvesters and the like. What I didn't realize was that if you set up your unloaders as you would with course play, but you just use a regular AI driving the harvester, that will work, because it doesn't work exactly the same because you don't have all the limits, but when the regular AI puts his auger out seeking an unload, the auto drive will still kick in and unload it. And similarly, if you're driving the harvester and you stick the pipe out, auto drive will come and unload you, which, as I said, was a pleasant surprise to me and very helpful, because I quite like driving the harvester. I'm kind of less fussed about driving the chase vehicles, although on times that's can be fun. But I like the idea of being able to call, like particularly when you turn the corner onto a straight section where the positioning is good, being able to send out a call and get your delivery vehicle, whether it be an auger or a truck, to come down the row while it's convenient and unload you. So that was pretty cool. So we might experiment with a bit of that the next time we get to harvest on here, because that was just a little bit different than the standard sort of course play stuff. And as I said, I don't know how widely known that is. It might be nothing particularly significant at all. If you have a look at the Griffin episode, you'll see I use it towards the end. I I actually discover it towards the end. I suppose we should say Kevin discovered it. That's really odd. Why are you not mulching that section? Maybe there's still sugar beet in it. Maybe I missed it. That's the only thing I can think of, is that I didn't actually harvest the sugar beet there. What angle have we got here? 332. How are you going to go? No, you're going to go, want to go that direction. Okay, we'll let you drive whatever angle you like, sweetheart. So, a little bit of liming to do. Around we go. The good news is, because it didn't cost quite as much as we anticipated for the slurry tanker, we've just got a little bit of funds if indeed we run out of lime and have to buy some. Well, I should say when we run out of lime, because we always run out of lime. I mentioned work before and just saw it on the hour news bulletin before I started the stream. Half hour, I guess it must have been. And a couple of young folks in Western Australia at work having a particularly bad day. So there must be some celebrity event or something on anyway. This was at the Perth casino, and like casinos everywhere, they have valet parking and all those sorts of things. Well, anyway, these two guys have managed to nose to tail the two Lamborghinis in the parking lot. Yeah, I didn't know that about the Massey one, thank you. The yarn one I typically use if I'm worried about spread rate. I'm not too concerned about it. With precision farming, it balances it a bit. Yes, so apparently they belong to some billionaire that was in town for a UFC fight or something. G'day, Tanner. So my first thought when I saw them was if you drive a bright purple Lamborghini, you shouldn't be surprised if somebody crashes into it. But I did feel for the valets, because it's just an all-around bad day. Hope you're having a good day, Tanner. So, one field limed. Looks like our lady is going okay on the mulching over there, so we can... And that didn't eat it quite as badly as I thought it might. We'll just pull up over here. Let's go and check how our BGA is eating through that slurry. So slowly, that's okay. I've got the BGA set to sell the electric charge. Why does it feel like it's making heaps and isn't selling? Maybe not. Does it tell me what electricity sells for? Nope. Cells on the... Oh, we're coming up to the hour, so that's all it is. We've just been running in the same hour for the whole time. So any idea what I should expect to see from 6 kilowatts of electricity? If it was here, it'd be about $1.80. Not significant income. Now, what am I thinking about? So our sugar beet cut. Well, that's the sugar beet cut that I put in the BGA, which now with hindsight, I probably shouldn't have. Should have put it in the sugar mill. It looks like, well, we've still got a heap of sugar beet cut in the grist mill. Oh, okay. What, yeah, my question is similar to Cranky's. What is his multiplayer server? Beet sugar. Are you still going a bit? We've got some sugar beet cut, so we could do some sugar beet cut sugar in there as well. Other than watching him, a couple of his streams on it, I haven't actually looked at Valley Spring. Been a little bit busy. Okay, so she's going to be finished there in a minute. That's good. This definitely needs lime, so that's fine. We could probably do another load of slurry. Oh, that's what John asked before. Sorry, I almost forgot. Is what was the fertilizing state? So this is our... Oh, well, that'll be good, Tanner. You can bring us up to speed every week when you pop in here. I look forward to hearing about it. So there is the pH level. So we've just got to spread some lime on the sugar beet field. The nitrogen levels we almost finished on the canola, and they're, as you would expect, pretty crap on the other two fields. So we could definitely spread some slurry before we put the sugar beet in. And before we replant the corn. I guess the question is that something you would do with a root crop? Would you spread slurry on a field that you planted a root crop in? Maybe not. Doesn't... Feels like that would... I mean, we are going to plow it in, but I don't know. Yeah, I was planning to use it before planting, but the question is before planting a root crop. So should I be using it only on a field where they where the crop comes out of the ground versus where the crop grows in the ground? I was just thinking out loud. It definitely looks like I need some, and just before we did that, I just wanted to think through it. It doesn't matter, John. Mr. Cranky says. So we'll do one more load in here. We had plenty. We've got some in there. I haven't even looked at what the slurry is for the cows. Oh, I'm not set on that. Right, there we go. Okay, so what we'll do then, we will finish mulching the sugar beet. We'll spread the lime. Did that fill that up? What am I doing? Brain on. There we go. Sugar. No, it didn't. I'm just driving away before it finished. We will make up our own rules. But I'm thinking we'll spread the lime first, and then we'll use the slurry to bed it, and then we'll plow. That's what I'm thinking. I don't really want to go down, but that's the way we're going to do it. One thing about the wrong size dolly, at least I spread the weight over lots of wheels. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with the slurry being the first stage. As I said, I was just more querying whether it made a difference, whether it was a root crop or a or whatever the opposite of a root crop is. For the same reason that you wouldn't spray it on one where the crops come out of the ground. That's that job almost complete. that road is new. Yes, where I went to high school, we had a similar problem. There were market gardens all around the school, and at a particular time of the, and not far away was a fairly large part of the poultry industry, and so Blood and Bone was the favoured pre-market garden preparation, and boy, on the days they did that when the wind was blowing the wrong way, was it ugly. Okay, just one little strip down here. Oh, and there's a bump I need to smooth out over there, isn't there? I should deal with that while we... Let's just do this while we're at it. Okay, so that's the mulching. That bump there is a problem. That's going to be a problem there now until I plow it, but that's all right. We'll fix it with the plow. Much better. I can fold you up. That road you were worried about there, Cranky, was a new addition and it's not quite finished. I will give you all a wash later on. Oh, hello. Haven't seen you for a while. You've been off feeding yourself. Yes, whatever it is, it was very whiffy. So let's spread some of this. Plenty is required by the looks. Whoa, that didn't last long. That's interesting. It must use the past crop as the reference, because we hardly used any for the other fields. And here we used a third of the tank in a fraction of the field. That would make sense. Because it is drinking it up. And now we're gonna have to buy some. Okay, so on the hour we got about, did anyone notice, 1,400 bucks? So that must have been the electricity selling. Where's that fill? We have to fill it at the front. Where's the fill for the silo? The only side I didn't try. 29,000 litres, let's just do that. Oh, that explains it then. How big an allotment did you have, John? I'll have to come back and fix that little patch when I plow it back in too. In fact, we might have to plow it in before we do the next part of the job. And we are certainly eating it here. What I might do, no, I wasn't looking at the meter. That's plenty. Tons a hectare. Wow. 10.5 up here because we're on silty clay. Goodness. No wonder we're running out quick. Oops. I've never heard of that before, John. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, but Would have thought there would have been a religious community that'd be up in arms about the as a concept, given that the society we appear to live in, there's always somebody going to complain about something. Yeah, I think we need to come from the side here if we're to have any chance of doing this without having to put more in. And no, we won't. Just go and top up. Right. Actually, what we'll do, we'll put the plow on. Drop you here just for a second. Put the plow on and just go and fix that little bit on the side. Where is the plow? It's hiding behind the weeder. Which angle am I going to be able to get you at? Posts are just a little bit awkward. This might just create a bit of a mess, but just look away briefly. Most important is that we don't hit the harvester. There we go. Right. We'll just run this across that little bit. Okay. So they work through a process. Now let's just Y and V. Fix you up there. We're going to plow this whole field anyway. I just want to be able to finish the liming, because we had already agreed we're going to just spread a little slurry around. Right, there you go. So you can sit at the end until we get up to you. More load of lime. I've got through a few tasks today. Tried a few things. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Quite a few folks bouncing in and out. Glad to have you all here. Thanks for popping by. If you get a chance, leave your point of view as a comment in the chat on whether I should stay with the current streaming approach, which is 2 episodes a week on Newlands and 1 on Oaks, or whether I should switch it around and go to 1 on Oaks and 2 on Oaks and 1 on Newlands. So just interested in people's points of view, so let me know what you think. I'll let everyone know what that consensus is when we get to Oaks on the first stream next week. Okay, that's plenty of liming. And with any luck, and I know people miss Oaks, and lots of people view it on catch up, so that's fine. Some people, it's handy having a stream that is not in your prime viewing hours and you can watch it when it suits you. So all things are possible. Okay, so you're limed. I'm planning to... We'll do a couple of loads with the slurry. Where's the tanker? There it is. Let's zip back down. I think we'll let our Unimog take the honours. Don't think we achieved very much by switching over to a tractor. In fact, what's going to be really quite... How did you get all the way over there? What I'm going to be quite intrigued about here. G'day, Hodge One. Great to see you. So that's kind of bizarre. Have I got sensors on there? No. So precision farming still adjusting the nitrogen application on this vehicle. Curious. Hope it's been a good week for you so far, Hodge One. As you can see, we have procured an ability to spread our stuff around. There we go. Now we got a reasonable amount of coverage on the field, so I think we can safely say that works all right. Access up here is not too bad. Yes. Yeah, so all the fields are scanned. So we've got all of the soil information, as you can see. And we're now just sorting out the pH. The other thing that I'm going to experiment with, because it struck me when I saw it. So if you haven't seen it, there's a where are they? One's going to be in sprayers. Do I not have it active? Maybe it's in... I thought I put them on here. Maybe it's in miscellaneous. Everywhere but. Okay. Sure, I put the planter on. Or the seeder. It's a planter, isn't it? So there's the manual planter. So if you haven't seen that, that gives you the ability to plant singly. And there's also a mod that's come out in the last couple of weeks which allows you to do the same for spraying. And what I'm interested to see is whether spraying with the manual sprayer counts as spot spraying. And I suspect you're right, John. The question though in my mind is, when do you actually need the sensors? If it, in quotes, automatically figures all this stuff out without actually having the sensors, what on earth do you need to fit the sensors to your tractor for? I just think that logic is inconsistently applied, let's say. But nonetheless, it's working fine for us here. Sensors are for weeds area. See, I thought that was why they had the cameras on the sprayers, but hey, I've just formed the impression that precision farming is only part the way there. It's part the way in a direction that I like, which is why I use it. But like so many things, it's like it's not quite done yet. This is working pretty well. I'm quite happy with that. I'm happy with our purchase. I don't think it's entirely unrealistic. So we're going to get this done. At the start of the episode, I was talking about the pigs. So we look at the pigs for well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about first. So what I was thinking was that if we put a somewhere over here on some land that's hard to use for anywhere else, just built a little fenced area, something like so, that we could move pigs into when they breed. So we're almost fully stocked at the minute, and if you look, so in 2 months these guys are gonna breed, so that's 24 is gonna give us somewhere up near 100 piglets. They're all not at puberty, and this 23 is going to do the same. And so that's a good thing because we can sell them to make some cash. But what we observed last time was, even though the pen allows that to overstock, their health drops, and when their health drops, the health of all the pigs drops, so does their value. And so given that we want to sell, then we're fine. Well, we want to keep the price up so that we can sell straight away and get our stocking back to realistic levels. So what I'm thinking is having a couple of pens that we could move stock into the month before they breed would be a good idea, and trying to make some use of land that we can't realize for other purposes is what's in mind. So I'm sort of thinking one of those, just a couple of little paddocks that we construct. You know, it's 9,000 I think to put down that fenceless pig pen, and then probably another 15,000 or so to fence it, which we'd get a substantial part of that back in the first time we used it. So that's just the thought that I had, because I think we're coming up to a period where our pigs are going to make some good money for us if we can manage them right. And I tend to agree with you. The advantage he's got is, I reckon, his Unimog cabin's better sealed than if he was in the tractor. Oops. A bit of lag there. So I think what we'll do in January is experiment with how to set that up. We'll certainly finish laying the slurry on this field so that we can roll over the day, and then we can I don't know that we'll have enough slurry to do the cornfield, so that's fine, that doesn't matter. This is making good use of it, and we've always got the BGA we can run. We'll have, maybe we aim to put digestate on the cornfield, just to sort of use all the processes. So we'll do the ploughing in Jan, and then we'll be all set to seed whenever the window opens, and then we can focus on a little bit of animal husbandry, and hopefully selling down all our produce will put us in a position to get some extra land, because we definitely need to be growing more. There is slurry in the cow pen, just not much, because I don't know how much, because we haven't had many cows up until now. So let's have a look. Well, it's coming along. So there's 40,000 litres in there. So certainly we're probably at a point where we've got enough animals that we can keep the BGA going with slurry. Oh, we're out. One more load will do this. And then only spread slurry on the fields when we get more than the BGA can handle. I thought I kind of like that as a plan. And that way our digestate will build up to probably enough levels that it will do fit most of our needs, so that'll be good. I've probably got a tool that'll tell me. Where are we going here? So slurry there. Yeah, so we've got 30,000 litres of digestate. And if I look at our little tool, I know it spreads, whoops, this tool should give me an approximation for digestate. So a single field is going to use the digestate we've got. So we're going to need heaps of that. So that's all good. I think we're in a pretty good position. We're sort of poised to take a big growth step if we can just keep an eye on the balance, because we're also at a point where we've got enough of lots of things. If we make steps in the wrong sequence, we can also dig ourselves into a hole pretty quickly. So that's the state of play. If anybody else has got any suggestions or observations, feel free to make them. I'm always interested. Oftentimes it's your ideas that make this really interesting. Let's turn you on. I'll do this last bit. And the other, it's just an open question that I'd put out there, but if there are, quite enjoyed, it wasn't necessarily the highest rating video I've ever put out, but I quite enjoyed doing the testing vid that I did around the cow pens recently. If there are aspects of the game's mechanics that people are keen to see a little bit more data about, I would be up for potentially doing a little bit more of that analysis. So if you have a particular thing that's on your mind or that's bugging you, again, put that in the... I'd certainly be interested in looking at it, Scooter. Yes, I'm not squeamish. I haven't signed any agreements with giants, and nor am I planning to, so I would be very interested in having a look at seeing what you came up with. But as I was saying, if there's aspects of the game's mechanics that people would like to see sort of reviewed or tested, I'm up for that. So if you've got any particular ideas or questions, just drop a line in the comments, or hit me up on Discord. That would be great. Animal input mods we have, well, sorry, which animal input mod are we talking about? Is it on? I lose track. Looks like I don't have it on here. The only question I would have, which I'll have to investigate, is does that in any way conflict with Maize Plus? That's really interesting. That's not showing all the mods that I've got on here. And the reason I know that is because I do have we have an animal extension mod, because that's how the animals are breeding, and that's not coming up in this list. So if I switch across, script mods won't show up on there. Well, there you go. So I did not know that. I've just learnt another thing. If we go over here to this screen, we can see that I have, it's compatible with the breeding mod. Okay, so we definitely have the breeding mod on. Just looking. Goodness me, there are lots of mods. It is probably at the top of the list. I just didn't want to jump to there and miss it. Fertilizer production. And those of you that might not have seen it, Argsy's New Zealand fertilizer pack is on the ModHub too. If you haven't already, just grab a download for him. I'm sure he would appreciate it. Animal food overview, I've got animal transport. I'm definitely using it on at least one of my saves. Scooter, I just can't remember off the top of my head which one. So that said, I am interested, so thank you. But we might leave it there for today. I hope everyone has had a little bit of fun for the week, and I hope you have a good weekend. We'll catch you next time. And that's the main conflict I'm just concerned about. I don't want to break the Maize Plus stuff because we've worked so hard to get that working, and it's working really well for us. But I can't see why it would. But thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next week. We'll kick off the week on the Oaks on Monday evening my time. We'll be back on here on Tuesday, which will be Friday. For Tuesday will be Monday evening, afternoon, for the US and Europe. So thanks for watching, everyone. Catch you next time. See ya.